Here's a cap on the Charlotte Hornets plus 10.5. Boston Celtics get waxed by the New York Knicks. Played their guys. I wouldn't say they went super hardcore mode. They haven't had anything to play for in a long time. Here's the trick. I gave this trend out as far as after game 40. It gets better after game 70. After game 70, teams with the winning percentage below 30% versus teams with a winning percentage above 70%, which is not going to be a lot of games because there's not many teams that are that bad that play teams that are that good after game 70. But we do have a 20 game sample here, 21 game sample. Those teams are 11, 8, and 2 for 58% against the spread. It's pretty, this is like and this is one of those trends where you can spout off all the numbers. There's a real logic to it. This late in the season, so you start off the season and nobody knows how to, like, the book, it's the sweetest spot because the books don't know how to properly power rate them, and they're going to be reluctant to adjust based off of new data versus their preseason priors. It's why the Thunder have just killed them over in all these years, and teams like the Magic, right, where it was like they didn't think that they were that good, and the Magic just kept covering, and it took them a long while to adapt. There's the middle of the season where it's, I think, a back and forth. There's late season where the books have gotten sharp. They've adequately priced these lines. But now we're at the end of the season. Not only is motivation questionable, not only are guys tired, not only is the basketball a little bit weird, but also there's like an exaggeration effect where, like, the Hornets have kept ticking down. The Celtics have kept ticking up in their value. And that's a big reason why they've had trouble in these kind of spots. So to me, this is a market exaggeration at 10.5 for a team that, yeah, the Hornets don't have anything to, there's no reason for them to win this game, but you know what? There's no reason for the Celtics to win the game either. Like, this is going to be a messy game featuring a lot of different guys. Here's some other trends. You know who one of the worst teams to play if you're going to have to play a team the next night is? The New York Knicks. Teams after they play the Knicks this season are 35, 43, and 1 at 44% against the spread. That is a top 5 figure in the NBA. After you play the Knicks, you have just played a grueling, physical, annoying ass, very, very high effort team. And that's absolutely what the Celtics played. They're trying to get healthy. They're not going to want to go 100%, and they may not play their guys later. Here's another trend for you. How about this? The Boston Celtics are one of the worst teams versus teams that have an under 500 spread win percentage. Let me go back over that again. The Celtics are terrible versus teams that don't cover. So if you don't cover, the Celtics are one of the teams that you want to play. How about this one? Teams with an ATS winning percentage below 50%, so they have covered less than 50% on the season, are 24, 15, and 2, 62% ATS versus Boston.
Wow.
This makes a lot of sense again, right? Boston's the best team in the league, so all their numbers are bumped up. The average line in these games is 9.9, and the margin is a full point under at 9. So it's almost a full point under at 9. So there's a lot of clearance here. Model backs this up. I'm not necessarily putting a lot on it because the model's, this is a weird game late in the season. But Sean, no motivation. There's an expectation of the Celtics will still blow out the Hornets because they're so bad because they're tanking. You can lose and cover this game, which is what I think Charlotte will do. I will take the Charlotte Hornets plus 10.5.
Yeah, I agree. I would be baffled if Celtics coming into the game, put everybody on the injury report against the Knicks. They end up making everybody available. Everybody plays. They get smashed. Then they have a back-to-back against Charlotte. If the guys that play tonight show up tomorrow and give max effort and destroy Charlotte, I have a lot of questions on what the fuck happened against the Knicks. Then what the fuck was yesterday then? If you guys come out here and play top Boston Celtics basketball like you guys have been a vast majority of the year, then what was yesterday and what was the game against Milwaukee? Those would be the questions I would have, and I don't expect to ask them come tomorrow. I just think this is going to be one of those things. They have Charlotte, then they have Washington, two really soft games coming down the stretch here. So yeah, I don't expect them to be max effort type games at all. As Matt said, kind of going through the motions here. as they load up for another 8 to 9 days until the playoffs actually start. Once the play in is concluded, you can argue that's too much rest. That's too long. 14 days, maybe even 15 days to just kind of lackadaisically walk into the playoffs when potentially you have a shot at playing Philly. But that's has nothing to do with best bets coming tomorrow. If they show up and smash Charlotte, I would be very confused on why. So I agree. I think the side is the +10.5, where Charlotte loses the game, but Boston doesn't cover the number.